Hey everyone, welcome back. Thanks for joining us. Today we've got a brand new story to share with you. So let's begin. I've been married to my wife for 3.5 years, and we've been together for almost 7 years. A couple of days after our anniversary this year, she went on a business trip to a different city. She said that she had intended to meet up with a male friend for food after the trip, to which I consented. When she got home, I noticed that there were subtle behaviors that felt off, which came to a head a couple of days later when we were visiting my nephew, who had been seriously ill with something the doctors were struggling to diagnose. She was in a text conversation with someone and kept angling away from me while in the conversation. I felt this was a bit strange, so the next day, I sneaked a look at her phone when she went to the bathroom. I found a very graphic conversation via Twitter direct message, no images, but talking very graphically. I only had a few seconds, so I couldn't get the whole context. I got a friend to text me with an emergency so I could get out of the house and clear my head. He advised that, while it didn't look good, I didn't get the whole picture, and I should probably try to get another look before confronting her. That night, I woke up earlier, around 4 a.m., and looked at her phone again, seeing that she'd deleted the direct messages. She hadn't, however, deleted the email notifications, so I found those and confronted her. She had no defense and fell on her sword. I learned that the sex that they had was unprotected, and she slipped up and said that she had intended to sleep with me the next day. I've had a vasectomy, so we don't use protection. She refused to talk to anyone to get support initially, and there were indications that she was thinking about hurting herself, so the next few days were agonizing while I had to be the person to watch over her while simultaneously being the person who she had hurt. She eventually opened up to some close family and friends, relieving the pressure on me immensely. We had some very difficult conversations over the next few weeks, exploring what had gone wrong, and I learned some quite difficult and disturbing things that had happened in her upbringing. She also mentioned that one of the reasons was that I didn't seem as sexually interested in her as she would like. I noted that, in our relationship, I was the one who initiated sex 99.9% of the time, which had led me to feel unattractive and unwanted, making me less inclined to initiate as time went on. General frequency tended to be once a week. Ultimately, we decided to work on it on 2 conditions. She was never to have any contact with this person again, and she would seek counseling. I told her that I don't particularly care if he's not blocked on her profiles, but to block and unblock him to break the connection on things like Twitter and Instagram. I had sent the man's wife/mother of his infant child a message with pictures of the messages, so I knew she was concerned about T-storm heading her way and would want some warning. I also saw a counselor to work through my difficulties during this time. Things seemed to improve, but then she went on another business trip, in a different city. He wasn't there, and I noticed that they were following each other again on Instagram. I confronted her about it and said that she must have accidentally followed him, and that she didn't realize that I wanted her to stop him from following her in the first place. I was, I think understandably, dissatisfied with this answer as I was very explicit with the block-unblock thing, but she would not budge, and there was nowhere for the argument to go. I moved out to a hotel for a few days, with the proviso that she would move out for a few days when I got back. Somehow, I couldn't tell you how, things improved again and we tried to work on it. We had a few months where things almost got back to normal. In truth, some of our happiest months were spent being more open about issues within our relationship, and then she went on another business trip. The phone network we both use went down while she was away, without any warning or even acknowledgement by the company, and I freaked out a bit, not being able to contact her or locate her on a GPS app we have both had for years. She has a tendency to think that I've died if ever she has trouble getting hold of me. I looked up the man that she had slept with, and he was in the same city at an event very close by. When able to contact her again, I calmly gave her the benefit of the doubt and texted her, saying that I know that he's there and that she hasn't had any contact with him. She said she hadn't, which either meant that he didn't know she was there or that he didn't want to contact her, either of which was fine with her. I normalized the text conversation for the rest of the day, knowing that my asking about him would likely put her on edge. As I think is understandable, the idea was difficult to shake, so the next morning I checked her location for the previous evening and saw that after the work event, she went on a bit of a bar crawl, making her way back to her hotel, and then shot across the city to a different hotel between 11:30 p.m. and 12:40 a.m. I phoned that hotel in the morning, just before their checkout time, asking if I could get a message to my colleague who stayed there, giving the surname of the man she cheated on me with. They confirmed his whole name, saying that he had already checked out that morning. I gave her the benefit of the doubt again. There were 2 conferences in that city and limited hotel space. She could have legitimately been with other colleagues, asking what she had done that evening, and she just repeatedly said that she had been to a few bars, but they were too loud and she went back to her hotel at 1 a.m. The next morning, I checked her phone again, and there was a phone call to him just before she went over there. I hit the roof and she first tried to make me feel bad for snooping. I'll get to that in a bit. Before saying she did see him with the intention of asking him to block me because she felt we couldn't move on if I was still checking up on him. I didn't buy that, as I don't think that needed a meeting at his hotel for over an hour and could have been done via text. Plus, I would have noticed that he suddenly blocked me. I ended the relationship and spoke to my family about all of this for the first time. I didn't want to cause a rift between them that they may not be able to fix if I was ultimately able to get past this. She moved out into a temporary place she found on Airbnb and has since moved back in after finding a flat to rent in the longer term. Things have been strange because they almost seem normal while we are living together again until you suddenly realize that they're not, and I don't think it's given either of us real time to process our feelings. She has since confessed that she kissed him goodbye when they met. To complicate matters even further, my wife has admitted to me within the last 2 days that she has been hiding the fact that she has genital herpes from me for the majority of our relationship. She claimed that this was the reason why she had not been as open sexually over the years and why she had declined at some times. I've never had any symptoms, so I may have been very lucky with that, but I haven't had myself tested yet. Not only does this make me feel very uncomfortable that she hid a highly contagious STD from me for years, but to not mention that at all when I opened up to her about how her not seeming sexually interested in me damaged my self-esteem and self-image is incredibly hurtful. Regarding my snooping through her phone, I'm entirely aware that this is a very toxic behavior, and it's something that I am very ashamed of doing. Considering that I've found evidence of cheating and lying through this method, I'm personally of the opinion that mine is the lesser of 2 evils. But it's proven to me that elements of this relationship have turned me into a person I don't want to be. I also realize that this must sound like just a rant, but my conundrum is this. I truly love this woman, unconditionally. I want her to have a happy life, and she claims the same is true in reverse. As difficult as it may seem to believe, I think she believes that too. She is clearly very troubled, and I'm the only one who knows her whole story, save any further surprises that I'm not aware of. So there's a large part of me that wants to help her. I should note that this has had a massive detrimental effect on my mental health. I've been suffering with suicidal thoughts and have been seen by my local hospital's crisis team twice throughout this. Thanks for watching. If you enjoyed this video, don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe for more stories like this. See you next time.